All right, you guys. So today we're going to have us another multiple review of our Black Series line of the Mandalorian wave of figures, guys. So we're going to get us a look at the Armorer, the Mandalorian with Beskar armor, the Imperial Stormtrooper, which is a new version of the Stormtrooper. I believe better joints on this particular Stormtrooper, if I'm not mistaken. And then, of course, last but never to be least, is going to be our Incinerator Trooper. So, guys, we're going to get a look at all four of these figures here today. So, for the Armorer, this is the exclusive, the Hasbro Pulse exclusive that came out. I have yet to get my hands on the regular release of the Armorer. Looking at this box is going to be a bit more extensive than the other three boxes. So, let's go ahead and get started. So, getting you guys a look at the Armorer in her box, very cool stuff. Again, we have the Black Series logo with the Star Wars Mandalorian banner just underneath that, Hasbro logo, 4 and up warning label, and then we have our Armorer who is encased on the inside of the sleeve in her box, and we have again the Star Wars Black Series logo, and then we also have the Armorer just underneath that. Is kind of slightly hidden from the sleeve. I couldn't quite pull it all the way out. And then we have a Mandalorian helmet that she is preparing or getting ready to forge, and then she has her forging tools and kind of like a forging spark right there on one of her tools, and then there's another tool just behind that. So really cool stuff for the front of the box for your Armorer. And then on the side of the box we have a cool illustration of the Armorer with her forging area depicted just behind her. So very cool stuff there. On the back side of the box, again, we have an image of the Forger. Again, it's kind of hidden by the sleeve a little bit there. And then we have the Armorer and a little blurb of the Armorer, our Star Wars Black Series logo, not only on the sleeve, but also on the box, Mandalorian banner, and then our other readables just underneath that. And then for our 3 standard release boxes, again, we have our Black Series logo across the top of those boxes with the figures depicted in the window with their various accessories and weapons. Very cool for all 3 figures. And then our Star Wars The Mandalorian banner across all 3 boxes, Hasbro logos, 4 and up, and your warning label. And then for the side of the box, we have illustrations of all 3 of our figures, starting with the Incinerator Trooper, and then we have our Stormtrooper, and then of course we have our Mandalorian in Beskar armor. And then for the back of all 3 of our boxes, again, we have our Incinerator Trooper, Imperial Stormtrooper, Mandalorian. All 3, of course, have our Black Series Star Wars logo at the top, and then a small blurb for each one of our figures. I'm not going to read those just to save time on this video because we are doing 4 figures here, and it does take quite a bit of time to get this done. So I don't want this to be a lengthy video. We have the banner that wraps around the back, and we have number 1, 2, and 3 in the numbering system for our figures here today. Then we have all of our readables just underneath each one of our respective figures. All right, you guys, so now we're going to get our figures out of the boxes, get a look at all of the detail, all of the accessories, and all of the articulation on each one of our figures. And then of course we're going to get these figures in a very cool little diorama with the setting that we have in the background here, guys, so please stay tuned. All right, you guys, so first impressions out of the box, very impressed with all 4 of our figures, and that even goes for the Stormtrooper. We've gotten a lot of Stormtroopers in the 6-inch line, but this one, much easier to pose, much more dynamic posing for that particular figure, but we're going to get into all of that with the articulation portion of that particular figure. But a very cool figure for all 4 of our figures here, specifically obviously for the exclusive Armorer, very nice with the soft goods. So we're going to get a look at her and all of our other figures. So for your Stormtrooper, typical Stormtrooper, nothing new in way of the design for this particular figure. Again, we've gotten a lot of these over the span of the 6-inch line, but he is nonetheless a very cool guy. So we'll skip pretty much the detail, but you can see he's a very clean Stormtrooper, no detailed dirt marks or any weathering for this particular figure, as you guys can see. So for articulation on your Stormtrooper, he's going to give you a straight arm like so, an elbow bend that goes back about that far. Your Stormtrooper is going to give you an excellent T-pose like so, and then your twist is in the elbow. You also have a twist in the wrist. There is an up and down hinge in the wrist as well. And then specifically in the shoulders with the shoulder pad, you can see what they've done with the shoulder pad, which now is detached from the body of the armor. So it allows you a lot more flexibility with your range of motion in the shoulder. So that is really cool. In the leg area, your Imperial Stormtrooper is going to give you a straight out kick like so. He's going to give you a knee high kick like so. He's only going to go back about that far, but that's not too bad. Kicks out to the side about that far. Your Stormtrooper is going to give you a wide stance that's about that wide. A twist at the thigh. Also have a twist at the knee. In the ankle, he's going to go down about that far, up about that far. Of course, you do have the rocker for your ankle as well. In the torso, he's going to go down that far, back about that far, and then of course you have a very nice range of motion in the torso area, and then of course your left to right twist as well. And then in the head area, he's going to go down that far, up that far, left to right, and he's got the head nod for you as well. Very, very cool articulation, very awesome. And then he comes with his standard weapon, typical for your Stormtrooper, nothing special, just a matte black paint, no additional paint apps for your one and only accessory for your Stormtrooper Mandalorian. So next up, we're going to get a look at the Incinerator Trooper. Let's go ahead and get a look at this guy. So getting you a look at the Incinerator Trooper, very, very cool looking figure. Very awesome. I don't know why I only bought one of these, but I did only get one, unfortunately. But he looks very, very cool. Love the tank and the backpack on the back. You have the cord that wraps around to the gun. It's really cool. And of course the paint job, very nice on this figure. Excellent job. And then of course you have the added accessory with the flame that goes from the flamethrower. But he looks really, really cool. And just to get you guys a closer look at this guy and the paint apps, you have the red pauldron there, which is cool. And you have red trim all around the edges, even all the way down to the ankle. And he is really, really nice looking, very cool. So it does look like the tank, which is basically a vest, goes around the front and wraps around the back. And as you can see, I believe this piece connects there and should be the same for the other side. So if you wanted to remove the tank, I think that is possible. Why you would want to move the tank, I would not know. But if you desire to do so, it looks like you would be able to do so. But this guy has some really good detail. Very cool stuff. So your articulation for this guy is going to be basically the same as what we saw with Mandalorian Stormtrooper, because it is basically the same figure, just with a special repaint and a different accessory. So we're going to forego the articulation for this guy. But just know that the articulation is going to be just about the same, maybe for the exception of this particular portion with the pauldron here, which may hinder some of the articulation in this shoulder. But again, you do have the shoulder guard that is again detached from the torso of the figure itself, which gives you that additional range of motion in the arm. But again, with this pauldron, you just may have some limitations in regard to how far up you can get that arm up against that pauldron there. But other than that, the articulation is going to be the same as your Mandalorian Stormtrooper. So very cool stuff there, guys. And again, you have the accessory, additional accessory of the flame. It's really cool. Attaches to the gun. Put that over the nozzle. It is sort of a strange fit. I've gotten it on there, but it seems to look a little loose to me. So I've basically placed it this way to get it over the nozzle. You got it over the nozzle. Very cool stuff there, guys. Very awesome. And next up is going to be our Mandalorian with Beskar armor. Let's get a look at the Mandalorian with Beskar armor. So we have our Mandalorian with Beskar armor. Very cool figure. It comes with his backpack, as seen in the 7th episode of the first season, I believe, is when he received his backpack. I could be mistaken. Maybe it was the very last episode. But very cool. Basically the same figure that we received in the 6-inch line. However, this time he does have a couple of different paint apps on the armor. Obviously here on the chest, the shoulder, and the gauntlets as well. The helmet, then on his shoulder pad on the other side, you have his insignia here. Really cool. So those are the major differences from the original release. And then of course, again, you have the jetpack that fits on his back, which is really cool. Give you guys a good look at that jetpack. It's really nice there, guys. And just fits in the 3 slots right there on his back. And again, you have the backpack there. Very nice detail. Not a lot of paint apps on it, just a basic gray. Would have been nice if they applied some paint apps to it. Might be something, maybe a project that I may take on later on, but nonetheless, very cool additional accessory. And then of course, guys, I will not be doing the review of the articulation for this figure because we've seen the articulation, which is basically the same. The only difference from this figure and the original release is the Beskar paint apps on the shoulders, gauntlets, chest, thigh pads, and on the helmet. Very cool. And then of course, last but not least, we're going to get a look at the Hasbro Pulse exclusive Armorer figure. So getting you guys a closer look at the Armorer, and she is absolutely awesome. And you can see she has the horns on the top of her helmet, which is really cool. And any of you guys who have tuned in to the latest episode of The Mandalorian, we just found out that she is basically a part of a religious cult that is branched off from the Mandalorians that we are familiar with, and this is why they have resorted to their traditional or old ancient custom of never removing their helmet. So, and that is a spoiler alert, guys, if you haven't seen. But as you guys can see, she looks really, really cool. I believe the difference between the single release of this figure and the exclusive is that this, for your single release, I believe is going to be a molded cape, where this is a soft good, and that is really cool. A very awesome soft good there, guys, for this figure. And just to get you a look at what's underneath, and it looks like she has a little spot there, a little connection for something, where something would be held. That's interesting. Haven't seen that. So really, really cool stuff. Very nice features. She does have the split skirt, which is a molded plastic, but should allow for some decent articulation. And you have a very cool design there. You have the ruffles. So very nice detail on this figure. And the lines in the pants there. Just have some excellent, excellent detail. And in the belt area. So really, really nice looking figure. Love that helmet. And then of course she comes with quite a few accessories for your Hasbro exclusive, which was a Comic-Con exclusive, by the way, guys. And there she has two of her tools, which is a welding hammer and a tool to use to pick up items with. Don't know the formal name of that tool, but very, very cool stuff. And then she does have some additional accessories beyond that. The first accessory that she comes with is the hammer, which is red hot or melding hot, versus the hammer when it's cold. You have two different versions of the hammer that you get with this figure. And then that hammer comes with like a blast point where you're forging, where she's forging an item. You can use it to make it look like she's forging something, and the blast comes off separate from the hammer. You have a little notch there, slides nicely into the front of the hammer, and very, very cool accessory there, guys. Then again, you have this tool meant to mimic the tool heated up. It's really nice, and again, I don't know the name of this, but obviously this is something that she would use to grab an item with or hold an item with that she was forging. That's really, really awesome. Lovely detail. And then lastly, you have a helmet, and the helmet comes with kind of like a translucent effect to it, but you do have that little bit of color as if it's been heated up and is in the process of being forged. So you can kind of use this as an item that the forger is working on, which is really, really cool. And some very, very nice detail even on this helmet right here. That's very, very awesome. And a very nice addition to the accessories. So the articulation for your armorer is going to give you a straight arm like so. She's going to give you an elbow bend that goes back about that far. Give you a 360 spin in the arm as well. She's going to give you a T-pose like so. Your twist is at the elbow. You also get a twist in the wrist. She has an up and down hinge for this hand. For this hand, it is a back and forth hinge. In the leg area, she's gonna kick out for you like so. She's gonna give you a knee-high bend like so. She's gonna go back only so far. Single jointed knee, but she has the new hidden knees. She's gonna kick out to the side about that far. Her widest stance is gonna be about that far. Your twist is at the thigh. Also have a twist at the knee. In the foot area, she's gonna go down about that far. She doesn't really go up because the lip of the ankle keeps it from going up that far. So she's gonna only stand flat-footed for you in that regard. The ab area, she's gonna go down about that far, back about that far. You have a decent range of motion in the torso. And then of course you have your left to right motion. And then in the head area, she's gonna go down that far, back that far, left to right, and head nod action as well. So awesome articulation with your 6-inch Black Series Armorer figure. Very cool. So I wanted to get you guys a comparison between the original release versus the Beskar release. Obviously, you can see there are quite a few differences there. The chest armor, even the construction of the chest armor is different. The shoulder pads, much different. Just very cool. That's very awesome. So just wanted to get you guys a look. And then of course the helmet is a lot cleaner than the original release. So some very, very awesome stuff right there, guys. Very cool. So now, guys, we're gonna get our figures in a couple of photographs and some cool diorama images, guys. So let's go ahead and get started with our diorama. right, you guys, so there you have it, your 6-inch Black Series Mandalorian wave of figures. You have your Incinerator Trooper, your Mandalorian with Beskar armor, you have the Armorer, and you have the Stormtrooper Mandalorian version. So very cool, very awesome figures. I don't have too many complaints about any of these figures. I do really enjoy the new Stormtrooper and the new articulation points with that figure. Very posable figure, much easier to pose than the old version of the Stormtrooper. So I really do like that particular figure. The Armorer is absolutely awesome. Very posable figure. Love the soft goods fur on the back of the Armorer. And then of course she comes with a plethora of accessories, which makes her a very awesome exclusive item. Again, that Armorer is the exclusive from Hasbro Pulse. She comes with a few more accessories than the regular release version of that particular figure, but I think the exclusive is absolutely awesome. And then of course you have your Mandalorian figure with Beskar armor. Very cool figure. Nice to have this particular figure with all of the Beskar armor as opposed to what we've received in the past with this figure. So very awesome and very happy to have it in my collection. And then of course the Incinerator Trooper is absolutely awesome. Should have gotten more than just one of these guys. He is absolutely cool. I do love the flame accessory. Very awesome figure. So guys, let me know what your thoughts are in regards to the Mandalorian wave of figures. Have you picked up these figures? What do you think of the armor? Were you able to get the exclusive? I do know the exclusive was very hard to get. I actually had to get it on the secondhand market myself. Was not able to order it on Hasbro Pulse. So I did pay a little bit more than retail for that particular figure. So let me know what your experience is with that figure if you were able to pick it up, or any of the other figures. If you have those figures in hand, let me know what your thoughts are. Put those comments down below. Please like and subscribe. And of course, guys, from the Father to the Son to the Obi-Wan Force Ghost, may the Force be with you always.